Hello everybody, this is Refresh and I am here to take a look at Magic the Gathering's Archenemy Nicol Bolas. This is an annex set that came out alongside Amonkhet, and it is for 2 to 4 players, and I thought I would take a look at what's inside and then I'll play around with it a bit and then I'll get back to you with my thoughts. So let's go ahead and open this up. Alright, there's some cardboard spacers in here and a envelope of some sort. We have more spacers. We have 3 decks, and it looks like these are the spaces to put them. Yeah, sideways. And then another space here for, the Nicol Bolas deck here. And then the Archenemy cards that I guess go on top. It looks like eventually there's going to be some other way to rearrange this, and then we have a life counter which counts down to 40, it looks like, also in this box as well. Let's go ahead and open some of these up and take a look at this. If you don't know anything about Archenemy, it is a Magic format which is one versus many, and one player is playing the Archenemy, in this case Nicol Bolas, and they have these scheme cards which will give them a free spell that they can cast basically every turn, and so that's what's in here. Let's go ahead and look at what's in this envelope first. Alright. Oh, we have deck boxes. So we have a deck box for Nicol Bolas, deck box for Gideon Jura, and it looks like these are big enough to house sleeved cards, so that is a plus as well. And then I guess these go here. Oh, that's really nice. So we had some deck boxes, and then we have the actual decks. Let's go ahead and open up the different decks and take a look. So here's a Gideon Jura's deck. It comes with the Gideon Jura Planeswalker. Alright. Seems like a pretty straightforward white aggressive deck with a lot of small creatures. Not bad. Here's Chandra's deck. Like Gideon's deck, this is a pretty aggressive deck here. We have Nissa's deck. These cards are a little bit curved. As you can see, it's really bent. This is perhaps the most support deck of them. It's a bit of a ramp archetype. You're trying to get into getting a lot of mana to get a lot of advantage of spells that cost a lot of mana, and so that seems to be what the goal of this particular deck is. I have a bunch of tokens that will go with everything. We'll take a look at that last. We have Nicol Bolas' deck. There's our Nicol Bolas Planeswalker, and he is 3 colors. Seems a bit more like a control value style deck. And finally, we'll take a look at these schemes and whatever else is in here, because it's more than just schemes. Alright, there's 20 schemes, it looks like. A cardboard holder, and this appears to be the rules guide for the set. So there's a bit of information on how this particular thing plays, some strategy, and then a little bit of artwork and lore. Finally, we'll take a look at the tokens. These are double-sided, so it looks like they are going to work with all of the included decks. Alright, I'm gonna give this a play and let you know what I think afterwards. So I played Archenemy Nicol Bolas a bit, and here are some thoughts. The first thing that I appreciate about this particular box is that these decks are actually pretty balanced against Nicol Bolas. They do play well against each other. I think that each has a chance of defeating the other, and so as a box game that you just play by itself, I think it works pretty well. I also really like that they include this nice fancy 40 life counter as well. And I also appreciate that this comes with all the tokens that you probably will need in the average game as well. And there are no life counters specifically for these three decks here, although there is one for the Nicol Bolas deck, and so that is a little bit of downside. But if all you want to do is just play Archenemy Nicol Bolas once in a while, and you're fine with just using the pre-constructed decks in here, I think this product is fine. The problem is that this is quite limited to just using the pre-constructed decks here. And the reason that is a problem is because this deck here of scheme cards is really only suited to playing with this Nicol Bolas deck, or maybe other decks that are similar to it in terms of its style. And so it doesn't really give you a lot of options in terms of the kinds of decks that it might work well with. And so I think because it's fairly tied to this particular Nicol Bolas deck, you're not going to be able to play just any set of decks against it, but you will have to specifically look for 3 pre-constructed decks that are of equal power level to this particular deck. And you're not going to be able to play whatever you want as the archenemy, because this particular scheme deck is optimized towards this particular Nicol Bolas deck, specifically a Grixis deck. There are cards in here that give you extra mana in Grixis. So that's the limitation here. I do wish that the scheme deck here was a little bit more flexible in terms of the types of decks that it enhanced, and so that you could play this with a deck that isn't this particular Nicol Bolas deck, or perhaps another Grixis control-y deck versus 3 other decks of your choice. And that, I think, is the biggest weakness here. You can really only play Archenemy Nicol Bolas with Nicol Bolas, or maybe a deck that is like it but powered up, against decks that are also balanced against it. And I think that's going to say that this is recommended for your average Magic the Gathering player. I think this is going to be a lot more for casual Magic the Gathering players that want to be able to play Archenemy once in a while. And that's my thoughts about Archenemy Nicol Bolas. Let me know what your thoughts were about this product if you had a chance to play it. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button. If you'd like to see more of these videos, you can hit subscribe. This is Refresh. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.